Sadly, in 2025, the world's tallest roller coaster, Kingda Ka, is being torn down. This is absolutely devastating for me, as I never got the opportunity to go to America and ride it. So to say goodbye to this iconic legend, I decided to build it out of Knex. In order to stay on track with such a huge project, I needed to separate the build into smaller sections. Once all these sections were complete, then it's just a case of assembling it all outside on filming day. These sections included building the launch, the base, the midsection, the hill, and the very top. Oh, and of course, it wouldn't be a video from me without 3D printing a custom train. So let's get started with the very first two sections, the launch and the base. The launch is obviously the easiest part of the build because it's just a super long, straight piece of track. The only difference between this and when I built Top Thrill Dragster was that on Top Thrill Dragster it was only one box section high, however on this one I made it two box sections just to keep the track extra sturdy and extra straight. And just as we exit the launch and go up the tower, I've used these super stiff black rods to add extra strength. At the base of the tower, where the train leaves the launch and climbs up the tower, is where the strongest forces on the whole coaster is going to be. That is why I decided to build this whole section of track out of these super strong black carbon rods. The shaping of the pullout ended up really well, but I did later on in the build go and change it so that I could make it even bigger than it currently is. Then I just copied the design over to the other side and made the ending of the drop slightly higher than the launch. And because I wanted to make this recreation as accurate as possible, I took note of the fact that Kingda Ka has these cross braces all the way up the tower. So I built some of these horizontal bracing sections that will attach the left and right side together all the way up the tower. So along with building some of these thinner diagonal tube support, the structure for the base was now looking super realistic. Just one final thing to add, which was these two huge diagonal rear base supports. The middle section was very similar to the base, with two double thickness towers to hold the track, which were connected with horizontal support beams and diagonal tube supports, to keep it looking similar to the real coaster. After this, I worked on adding the track to either side of the supports. The right hand side had the 90-degree twist all the way up to the top, and the left hand side had the 270-degree twist all the way down. And this twist took me so long to get the shaping right. I think I ended up trying to build it about 3 or 4 separate times over the course of 1 or 2 days. But eventually, I did actually manage to get the twist correct. This whole twist is done now.
As you can see, the twist is looking really good, really smooth.
And I've tested the clearance and the train gets through without any issues. I tell you what, I wish I used this twist technique when I built Colossus, because my twists on that looked all sorts of janked up, but this one actually looks really smooth and consistent all the way through. With the two largest sections now completely finished, I just need to put a little thing across the very top of that middle section, take that bit down, and then from that I can build the very, very top. The scaffolding is actually booked in for the 14th, so we have just under 1 week to go. I literally just need to build this final bit up to like the very top, the support that goes across to connect it together, do the other upside down V-shaped support, and once that's done, I'm gonna chop it off about here, put it on the floor, build the top section. Hopefully I can get that all done tonight. Before starting the very top, I just had to finish one final thing on the midsection, and that was to add the rear support with all of the diagonal supports in between. And once the midsection was complete, I separated the top, placed it on the floor, and got ready to start work on the very top. For this, it was just a case of copying the same structure as the last two sections. It actually ended up being so tall that I had to use my wide angle lens just to fit the whole top section in one video. Now the downwards twist should have been a lot higher on the build, but it would have just overcomplicated all of the rest of the build if I did that. So I just ended up putting the whole twist on the middle section. So this whole top section ended up just being normal straight track all the way over the top. But it still turned out looking just fine. The scaffolding was booked and filming day was fast approaching, so we had to get the last few sections of the build complete. And not only that, I also had to 3D print a whole train for this project. So I got to work building the giant airtime hill at the end of Kingda Ka. It literally took me around 5 hours just to build this hill. It didn't even fit in my room anymore. I had to put the hill and the launch out in the hallway to work on them. So I have officially finished the airtime hill today, and also most of the launch track as well. It's pretty much all done now. And sadly, at the end of building it, I just realised it was not going to be big enough. The hill only turned out to be around 4 foot tall, so we had to make it bigger. But I'm really glad I did, because it turned out so much better than the first time I built the hill. So finally, after extending the launch to match the length of the hill, it was time to work on the 3D printed train. Just ignore the fact that it's already in the picture. I'm editing this out of order. Cut me some slack. Of course, it wouldn't be a TheKnexMaker video without a custom 3D printed train. So after paying somebody on Fiverr to design the train for me, all I had to do was just add my custom wheel assembly and print everything out. So yeah, I just printed out the front piece as a little tester, and it looks pretty good. A little bit misshapen, but I think it'll be fine. And it did print upside down, so once I take all the support material off, sand it down, it should look good. But this is only a test anyway. I should be printing it in green once my green filament comes. In the meantime, while I wait for the green filament to arrive, I printed out all the wheel assemblies that I needed in black, assembled them all together, added the bearing, and they worked absolutely flawlessly. So my green filament arrived for the Kingda Ka train print. I've got it going now on my fresh new bed. Tested the print in black, and it turned out quite well. And these are thick enough that I don't think I'm gonna have to get it resin printed at all. So with the design complete, it was just a case of printing everything out, adding in all the heat inserted brass threads, and then screwing it all together. And before you know it, we had a fully functional replica of Kingda Ka's train ready to take outside and film. But before we did that, we had to get everything ready for the big day. So today is the 10th, and the scaffolding isn't actually coming until the 14th, which means I've actually got 4 whole days to properly plan out how I'm actually going to put this up outside. So my initial plan now is to write down which section goes on each little piece of paper and then attach it to the tower in the different sections. This is working out quite well. I'm going to use the different colours for the different sections. So the black is obviously the base, the red is the middle, and the blue is the top. That means you can quickly scan and see which section I need, and it can be passed up to me. The order that I need them will just be numbered, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, to however many sections there are. So it should be really, really simple to put together outside. I've also separated each section nice and easily so that when I'm on the scaffolding, all I have to do is slide the cross ties back up and click them into place and just pop that section of tubing back on. And because the tubing will mostly be pre-installed to the sections, it shouldn't take me too long to put all the track back on. And once everything was separated and labelled, it's time to get an early night because I was up at 7 AM to take the delivery for the scaffolding. It's 7 AM. Oh, it's still dark outside. Just gotta wait for the scaffolding to arrive now. Have a nice little cup of tea. Once the scaffolding arrived, I went outside, built the entire base, and then leveled it all off so that the tower didn't lean to one side. This is incredibly important, as one small gust of wind could ruin the entire project if it's leant to one side. I tell you what, I wish I wasn't doing this in December. It is cold. This scaffolding is like so much bigger than the last one I did when I did the 20-foot coaster. So much bigger and wider. The scaffolding ended up being surprisingly easy to put up all on my own. And now we could just build up section by section. We're just about to go up onto the final level. Not as big of a jump as this one, this is about another 5 foot above, but that should be plenty for me to put the top hat on. Okay, the GoPro has run out of battery, but we're just doing the very top. I've got it there ready to go. Oh, just the crowns are put on top now, but it's a long way down. Wow. It does not do it justice on camera. Like, a person is this tall. I'm gonna stand next to it in a minute. And once the scaffolding was removed, you could see the tower in its full glory. And with one final sunset time lapse, we got the hill and the launch put into place. Then we just had to wait until morning to film an epic music video. Attention Knex fans, ready to upgrade your creations? KnexMore.com is the ultimate destination for all things Knex. Offering the most competitive pricing on Knex parts, they are consistently updating pricing to ensure they are the best option around. Explore their wide variety of pieces and bundles, all at unbeatable prices. By popular demand, they have restocked their custom coloured rollercoaster tubing, including orange, green, black and white. And of course you can't forget about the original purple, red and blue. This brand new tubing is slightly thicker, smoother and stiffer than the original, making your coasters run better than ever. The more you buy, the more you save with bulk order discount, starting from 10% off when you spend $50 and up to 25% off when you spend over $500. All parts are hand sorted and carefully packaged, so your order arrives safe and ready to build. Enjoy free US shipping on orders over $15. Oh my goodness, mate. That is just not good.